Do you want to learn how to clarify your marketing messaging? If so, let me show you how. Hey everyone, Nicholas here from Growth Marketer, and in this video I want to show you how to clarify your marketing messaging. Now this will apply both to landing pages and to advertising that you're going to be writing, so it's a very helpful little 5-step process, or I should say 5 different tips that you can use in a lot of different ways to help you clarify your message. So let's jump right in. So these are the 5 points right off the bat. Number 1, you want to start with a great offer. Number 2 is you want to answer the 3 key questions. Number 3 is you want to make it memorable with a story. Number 4, you want to remove, simplify, and amplify your copy. And number 5, you want to pass the 5-second test. Now don't worry, because in the rest of the video, I'm going to cover each of these 5 points in more detail, starting with the very first one to start with a great offer. We're going to go into what this all means and what an offer is and how all of this comes together to help you clarify your marketing messaging. Now, before we do that, I would like to focus on the definition of a landing page, because although I said that this can be applied to both landing pages and advertisements, the focus, I think, for the context of this video is primarily on landing pages, but the concepts can certainly help you no matter what type of messaging you're working with as a marketer. However, it's important to know what a landing page is because we're going to be mentioning it again and again in this video. So this is my definition of a landing page. It's an independent, campaign-specific destination that persuades a member of a target audience to take one clearly defined action. In some of the previous videos here on my channel, I go into detail of what this all means and how it's broken down and how it can really help you see what the true purpose of a landing page is. But for this, I just wanted to refresh you on this definition because it is so important to understand what a landing page is, since messaging is a huge part of the landing page optimization process. So much of what's on your landing page is the messaging, whether it be the visual messaging of the images and the graphics and the design, or the copywriting, the actual words and phrases that you use that are going to compel someone to take action. So that is sort of setting the groundwork for what we're going to cover. Anyways, let's get into those 5 tips for how to clarify your message. Starting with number 1, which is to start with a great offer. Now, I have an acronym here that I created called HAMMER. That's why there's a picture of a hammer here. And what this is, these are the 6 things you should keep in mind when you're trying to craft an offer. And I've said this many times, but an offer is what you're providing to your visitors, or to your website visitors. It's to the people viewing your ad. It's to the people reading your email. The offer is sort of the essence of what you're doing as a marketer. You're trying to connect the right people with the right message that contains an offer. And hopefully it's an offer that can help them solve some specific problem or need, and it's going to be very compelling. And they're going to see that offer, and they're going to want it, and they're going to want to take action. So to help you figure out what is the right offer, these 6 tips should be kept in mind when you're crafting your offer. Number 1, a good offer should highlight positive results from others. And what this talks about is social proof. So maybe this is a testimonial that's somewhere on your landing page or in your ad. Maybe it is some type of statistical social proof, like these are the number of clients we've worked with, these are the numbers of successful outcomes we've had with our program. But you want to show some type of social proof or social influence, because psychologically people don't want to be the guinea pig with whatever it is that you're offering. They want to see that the results have been achieved for someone else already. The second thing that goes into a great offer is that it addresses a specific problem. So again, I see this happen many times where offers are very vague, and they either try to do too much or it's unclear what exactly it is that you're doing. A good example of this is anytime you see on a website, there might be a little light box or pop-up somewhere, or a form down at the bottom, and it says, click here to get updates, or put in your email address and get updates. Don't miss out, get updates. And it's some type of very generic newsletter opt-in, but it doesn't tell me what I'm getting, it doesn't tell me why I should get updates, what type of updates, how frequently. It's just a very generic offer. You want your offer to address a specific problem, and the more specific you can be, depending on how well you know what the problem is that your audience is trying to solve, the better that offer is going to come off for the visitor. Number three is you want to make sure to minimize the risk involved in when someone takes you up on that offer, right? So a good example here is having some type of return policy or having a free trial, or if your offer is free, like if it's a free lead magnet of some type, that's going to minimize risk quite dramatically. So you want to minimize risk whenever possible. Number four is you want to motivate people to take action now. There should be some type of incentive, and it doesn't have to always be a financial incentive, and it doesn't have to be a countdown timer of urgency, or it doesn't have to be some false scarcity. But if you do have a limited quantity of something, or if something you're offering is going to be going away soon, or if there is a special promotion that you're running, you do want to highlight those things. But sometimes it's just a matter of making your offer so good that people want to get it right now, making it so easy and frictionless that there's really no reason to wait. Number five, the fifth thing that goes into a great offer is that it's easy to understand. This one is a no-brainer, and if it wasn't for the acronym, I would actually put this one at the top because it's that important, but it didn't make as much sense to start with E. But anyways, what I'm going for here is that your offer needs to be easy to understand, in the sense that it shouldn't be too complex with a whole bunch of different fancy words and jargon. It should be simple. Break the essence of what it is that you're offering down in the simplest terms possible. Don't use jargon, and just tell it like it is. And finally, number six is that your offer should require minimal effort to obtain. Now, this is not always possible because sometimes you do have to provide a lot of information in order to get what it is that you're offering. A good example is if I want to buy a car, I need to provide a lot of information. I need to go through the credit check and all that stuff. And that's to be expected. But there's things I can do to make that effort easier, or to make that process easier. In other cases, I've seen what essentially is more effort than needed. So in a good example here would be a lead magnet, where you might have to put in 10 different pieces of data: first name, last name, company, position, number of employees, the year you started the business, all that stuff, just to get a free lead magnet. That's overkill, and that's maximum effort. So you want to make sure to use minimal effort, or to allow your visitor to use minimal effort when they are requesting whatever it is that you are offering. That's going to help you because it's going to make it easier for the visitor, and therefore they are more likely to opt in or to take you up on that offer. So to remember all this, just remember the word hammer and try to create an offer that will hammer home these points. To put this into one final example before we get into the next tip here on how to clarify your messaging, I wanted to show an example of hammer messaging, or a hammer offer in action. So this is a website called Hotjar. They offer a software that I actually use and recommend, and I've talked about it on this channel before. But basically, it is a user feedback tool. It's a behavioral analytics tool. There's a lot of different ways to explain it, but you can see that they're deploying a lot of these best practices here. So are they highlighting positive results from others? Yes, you can see that they are mentioning how many different companies signed up last month. Are they addressing a specific problem? Yeah, they're talking about how to understand the users on your site, which is a huge concern for a lot of people because we all get a lot of traffic to our sites, but we don't know exactly what people are doing, and this insight can be very valuable. Are they minimizing risk? Absolutely, because they're letting you try it for free, plus you don't have to put your credit card in. They mention it up here at the top and down here, and there's really not much risk since it's a free trial that you can get started with in just a few clicks. Are they motivating users to take action now? Yeah, because again, it's a free trial. They're making it very easy to sign up. It's extremely easy to take action, and there's really nothing that's going to stop me and say, well, I need to think about this. It's a big decision. Nothing like that. It's a super easy process. Is it easy to understand? This is where I think they could do a little bit better, because the headline and the subheadline feels a little bit wordy to me. There's not really a lot of visual imagery going on above the fold here. So I'm not saying that this is a perfect deployment of this hammer methodology, but I do think that out of all the sites that I review, this is up there with some of the better ones. So it's not terrible, but I think if there is one area for them to really focus on here, it would be to maybe simplify this headline and simplify this subheadline. And finally, are they requiring minimal effort to obtain what it is that they're offering? Which in this case is software, but in this case it's a free trial to the software or the free plan. And they're making it very easy to get started. You can just click that button at the top to try for free, or you could sign up with Google, which is even easier because you don't even have to put in that additional information. You just click a few buttons and you'll be up and running. So absolutely, they're requiring minimal effort to obtain what it is they're offering. So I think they're doing a good job here in this example of Hammer offers. So I think they're doing a good job here with all of the points that we just covered. Okay, so let's move on to the second recommendation for how to clarify your messaging. So we talked about how to start with a great offer. The second thing is to answer the 3 key questions. And you might be wondering who this guy is on the screen. This is Donald Miller, and this is where this idea came from in his book, Building a Story Brand, which I highly recommend you check out. One of my favorite marketing books. I'll put a link in the description below. But what he says is that one of the best things you can do is go through your website, especially your homepage or the above the fold portion of your landing pages that people are visiting first, and make sure that it answers these key questions. And you want to make sure it does so in a way that is quick and easy. So number 1, what is it that you offer? Number 2, how will it make my life better? And number 3, what do I need to do to get it? These are the essential questions that someone subconsciously is thinking about as they visit your site or your landing page. And so here's an example of a site called HelloFresh, which is a food delivery service. So let's just see if they're putting this into practice. So number 1, what do they offer? Well, we see that they offer 14 free meals and free shipping. And it says here that I can personalize my meal plan, so I know it has something to do with a meal plan. And if I read the subheadline, I clearly see that this is fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and delicious recipes delivered directly to my door. So that's what they're offering. It's food delivery. Number 2, how will it make my life better? Well, if you see that headline down at the bottom in the white part, down here it says dinner delivered. So that's the essence of what they're doing. They're delivering this entire experience for you, so you're going to save time. It's going to make life so much easier, and you can actually get a whole bunch of food free, right? So that's how you're going to have an improvement in your life if you take them up on their offer. And number 3, what do I need to do to get it? I think it's pretty clear here. You can start by personalizing your meal plan, and you can get 14 free meals. So you have 2 entry points into that process. It's just a click away, and I think they do a good job of explaining what that next step is for people to take action. So like I said before, I do recommend you check out Building a Story Brand, one of my favorite marketing books. But let's move on to another point in this 5-point framework for how to clarify your messaging. And this one is to make it memorable with a story. So basically inject story or storytelling principles into your marketing messaging in order to make it easier for people to understand. And so this is a really good quote from Janet Litherland. Let me read it to you. She says, "Stories have power. They delight, enchant, touch, teach, recall, inspire, motivate, challenge. They help us understand. They imprint a picture on our minds. Want to make a point or raise an issue? Tell a story." This goes to show how important storytelling is. And this can be a powerful, powerful way for you to clarify your messaging and get people to really pay attention and take action. Let me give you an example. So this is the story of how I started my business, told in 2 different ways. I can either tell you the story on the left, which is not really a story. It's just literally step by step what I did to start my business. Here's how I started my business. First, I had an idea. Then I set up an LLC. Next, I created a logo. You get the point. You're probably bored at this point because I'm bored just telling you that. It's pretty dry. Now, on the other hand, what if I started with some of these storytelling elements, like asking questions and pulling you into the narrative? So if I told you basically the same thing, but I said, have you ever realized that a lot of marketers focus way too much time on getting traffic without focusing on how to convert that traffic into leads and customers? Now you're starting to think, well, yeah, I do know a few folks who spend all their time thinking about Facebook ads, but they don't really focus on website optimization and things like that. And what if I then said, well, this is a waste, and I knew there had to be a better way. So that's why I created my business. See, so I've started with a different narrative, but I'm basically telling you the same thing. I essentially started a business to try to help people who needed to optimize their websites, right? But using the principles of storytelling It's more captivating. It helps you paint a clearer picture in your mind of what's going on, and it's more memorable too. So if you can take storytelling principles and inject it into your marketing messaging, that's going to help you clarify your messaging. The next point that I want to share with you is to remove, simplify, and amplify your copy. And the idea here is that you need to bring clarity to your copy by removing the unnecessary, by simplifying jargon and also abbreviations, and by amplifying key points. And there's a really funny cartoon here basically showing these two executives, and they say, "We need some new jargon. The public is starting to understand what we're talking about." So I thought that was pretty funny because it just goes to show that jargon has always been a part of marketing and business, but we want to get rid of jargon. We want to simplify things, and we want to amplify the most important points. So again, since examples are really the best teaching mechanism here, let's look at the same copy written in two different ways. The one on the left, this is actually from a real website. I was searching, I think, for personal injury or car accident attorneys, and I clicked on a few of the links. I know I clicked on some Google links here to find the copy that was being used on some of these landing pages, and this was one of the paragraphs right at the top. And so I'm not going to read it, but you can see it's kind of boring just looking at it. It's just this block of text. There was no flow to it. There was no copy enhancers like bolding or highlighting or italicizing the text. It was just plopped here as this one big block of copy. So then what I did was I took this copy and I tried to keep the essence of it the same, but I used some mechanisms to make it easier to read. So not only did I simplify some of the wording, I also removed some of the phrases and some of the wording because it was just redundant or unnecessary, but I also highlighted using bold certain passages so that they really stand out. Because one thing about the way people are using the web these days is that they are on their mobile devices, they're in a hurry, and they are their attention spans are limited. So we want to make sure that we are appealing to people who are skimming or scanning our copy. And so when you read the copy on the right, hopefully, even if you're in a hurry and you just have a few seconds, you'll see that you can just scan through it and quickly get the main ideas because the text has been optimized by removing, simplifying, and amplifying the copy. Okay, finally, we've gotten to the last point, which is to pass the 5-second test. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is a 5-second test? What does this mean? Well, rather than me explain it, let me actually take you through the 5-second test because it only takes about 5 seconds. So here we go. I'm going to show you the above the fold portion of a web page in just a second, and I want you to just look at it and try to remember as much as you can about it, but I'm only going to show it to you for 5 seconds. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, that was about 5 seconds, I think. So now that you've saw that page, from what you remember, can you answer these 3 questions? First of all, what do you think the page is about? What product or service do you think is being offered? And what do you remember most vividly? Now, you could ask different questions, but the idea here of a 5-second test is to show a page or the above the fold portion of a page to the visitor or to the test recipient for 5 seconds, and then stop showing it and then ask some very basic questions that they can answer from memory. And the idea is to see what their impression was. It's called the 5-second test for a reason because we know you're not able to take in a lot of information in 5 seconds, but you will take in the most important information. That's why it works best with the above the fold portion of a landing page, because that's where your most important messaging is or should be, and that's what we want people to quickly read and grasp the main idea from. So think about this. What did you remember from that page? Do you think you're able to tell me what the page is about? Do you know what product or service was being offered? Do you remember anything most vividly? I remember when I did this test with that page, first off, I didn't really know exactly what was going on because there was the image. I remember there was something, and the lady was holding something colorful, but I wasn't sure exactly what was being offered, and I wasn't even sure what the call to action was. So chances are that may be your experience as well, and that's fine because I purposely tried to pick an example that was not very clear. We can go back to it for a second if you want to see, but basically I believe it's a shoe company. But as you can see, if this is all you're seeing, then it's not really telling you very much about what they're offering and what the next step is if you want to get it. So we made it to the end. This is a recap of what we covered. These are the 5 tips I have for helping you clarify your marketing and messaging. Number 1 is to start with a great offer. Number 2 is to answer the 3 key questions for your visitor. Number 3 is to make it memorable with a story. Number 4 is to remove, simplify, and amplify your copy. And number 5 is to pass the 5-second test. Hopefully all of this has been helpful, and if you want to learn more about my marketing framework that this is actually part of, you can download my free guide called the 7-Question Landing Page Framework. It's absolutely free. The link is in the comments section below, or you could just go to growthmarketer.co/framework, and one of those 7 questions is actually all about clarity. So you've officially just learned one of 7 of these principles that go into this landing page framework that's going to help you create landing pages that convert and get people to take action, whether it be to click a button, fill out a form, get in contact with you, make a purchase, become a lead, whatever the case may be. If you want to get more of your website traffic to convert into leads and customers, this free guide will help you get right there. And I put a lot of work into it. So as you can see from this video, if we just covered one of those 7 aspects just now, there's a lot more for you to be able to explore so that you can create compelling landing pages and also use these tips to improve your current website and your website copy. So you can download it absolutely free at the link below, or by going to growthmarketer.co/framework. Of course, I also ask that you please hit that like button if you found this video helpful. That'll help more people find it and benefit from this video. And also consider subscribing to my channel because I will be sharing a lot more marketing insights here in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.